EOMM, or engagement-based matchmaking, is something that a lot of Marvel Rivals players like to talk about. But here's a perspective that you may never consider. Sometimes you are the thrower on your teams. A lot of people like to say, oh my god, I keep losing my games because of certain teammate does this or does that, whatever. But they always say it from the perspective of that they're the victim. They never once could even think to consider that they might be the ones throwing someone else's game. You know, I'm seeing a lot of posts of people giving examples of their teammates throwing their games, but they never once consider that maybe those same players might be posting clips of them throwing their games on other occasions. A lot of people like to chalk up people making mistakes to a government-mandated loss or just EOMM just ruining their win streak, but there's always two sides to that same coin. Sometimes you are the one doing bad, sometimes you just have a bad game, or your entire team has a bad game. I've had games where my team has no coordination, we are just staggering all game, and we get steamrolled. Do I think that that's engagement-based matchmaking? No, I think I just had a bad game, and my team just wasn't coordinated, and that happens. Odds are I'm gonna get a game where things just don't work out how I want them to work out. But I'm never gonna say, oh, the game is specifically designed to put teammates on my team who just don't know what to do. Because how would the game even decipher that? How would the game know, okay, well, this player's doing good, so let me put this other player on their team? Because I know that this other player is really bad. How the fuck would the game know to do that? Yes, there are times where the game will just put you against players who are better than you, but that's how almost every other shooter game works. At some point, either on your rank up game or just randomly, you'll get a game where the enemy team has just people who are higher ranked than you. Maybe they're higher peaked, or they're just better at the game mechanically, or positioning, or just team coordination wise. That will happen, and you will have to prove yourself that you are better than that. You're better. That's how the game works. At some point, you're going to face people who are just better at the game than you, and you have to either win that game and prove that you can be in that rank that you want to be at, or lose and say, okay, obviously the people are higher ranked than me, I'm not as good as them, so I don't deserve to be in that rank. I say the only time you can ever blame engagement-based matchmaking to be ever against you is if you get shark players on your team, because those guys are actually emo terrorists.